Hello and welcome back to Spekd for more hobby and painting, building and some crafting, and this is continuing our solo play excursion. What I have here is really to talk about Warcry. Now, I obviously do mostly 40k, but obviously, well, I say obviously, but I really do enjoy Warcry and I play quite a bit of it, and I can spend some seriously late nights up between this, Blackstone Fortress, and now Overwatch kill team is getting a bit ridiculous. Well, let's focus in on this for now. So what I'm looking at is if you've got Warcry, predominantly I know that you will just be using those models for Warcry. There are no real benefit for using those models in a game of Age of Sigmar. If you consider something like Warhammer 40k, you always have a box set that comes out which is for one particular game, and the moment you put in Warhammer 40k, they have lots of advantages, unless it's Blackstone Fortress. So Games Workshop did that quite well, keeping each element to itself. But with Warcry, you have the advantage of just getting a set of these cards and pretty much playing the game just on your table, just out of the way, with a variety of different armies. I managed to pick up these Seraphon cards just before, I think it's about maybe a month ago. So I've been using my old Seraphon army, which I'd legitimately retired, to play Warcry. But I just wanted to let you know that these aren't the only armies which are out there that are currently being kind of dealt with. You've also got ones in the White Dwarf magazine. So you may have seen this, which is in the White Dwarf issue 451. I think it came out, when was that? Last month? When is this? What does it say? Oh, no, it doesn't matter. You got the number, that would do. But look, you got information here based on Fire Slayers, and it gives you information to use Warcry, which is great. But the idea is that I'm thinking is if you had a start collecting box set of any of these armies that are in Warcry, if you had access to the cards or the information on the cards, and a little bit about the rules, which I think I've covered in one of the videos beforehand, which you can see, just the main key things. It's honestly really easy just to break that box into two armies. So rather than having to have multiple armies, if you've got just one knocking around and you decide like, hey, I like this army, I haven't really started big time yet, you can use that just by having two warbands which are the same facing off against each other. It's good fun, it get you into your tactics and, get into it. Now, if you have Skirmish, you may have had this from back in the day. To be perfectly honest, this is the precursor to Warcry. It is that whole path to glory kind of thing. This is the kill team prototype in a way. You build your roster for your warband. You could use this. Get your lore, missions. Just looking through here, just trying to try and get to the rules. There you go. So the rules aren't that big. There isn't that much in there. It's pretty much the same as the original setup from Age of Sigmar. So you could just utilize that anyway. There are some additional rules there for commander abilities, but there's no reason that you couldn't use what you've got in Warcry Age of Sigmar now and just kind of chop it down. The table size that they use is set up there. Again, is 4x4. They give you missions that you can do, so you don't have to oversize it. You can reduce the size. I mean, you could even use these missions for 40k if you really want to. I don't see why not. You don't always have to play like a 2,000 point army or a 1,500 point. You can just play a little 500 point game or maybe a 200 point game. So you might not even have the kill team set, or you might not have the Warcry set. But it doesn't mean that you can't reduce the sizes of the army to play on your dining table, maybe with a cornflakes box as a piece of terrain for blocking line of sight. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to. There's not much to go on there, but it's just giving you an idea how you just build your army and play. It will stop you from kind of being isolated, or you can solo play. It might jog your memory to remember that you do have this sitting in the back of the cupboard. Go dig it out. I would also say it's the same for Shadespire Underworld. I mean, you could play that solo. Even Gore Chosen. because I remember taking the Gore Chosen models and using them, I should say, for my Age of Sigmar, which worked out really well. And it was the same for the Underspire, the Underspire Underworlds board game that came out, which was a box set itself again. You can put the models back into the box set and you can play that. It is straightforward. You don't have to have the exact board, just measure out some hexagons and go for it. I mean, yeah, as long as you've got the cards, those two should be okay. If you are playing a game like this and you are doing your thing, if you have a copy of Firestorm, I'm here just trying to remember the game offhand because it's in the cupboard somewhere. If you remember, if you do have a copy of Firestorm, you could easily start a campaign of that, and it may seem a little bit strange, but by the time you'll maybe mix and match in like 4 armies, and that gets you back into playing those armies again with unique artifacts and board control. You know, by the time you go to sleep and wake up, you might have a different theory on how you want to play a different army or a different thing. It's a way to test out your armies as well. Also to test like how opponents might play them as well when they look for advantages. I mean, there's no reason you can't even leave the board set up overnight if you want to in the current state that we're in. But that's it for now. As regards to Age of Sigmar, Warcry and whatnot. I mean, I think I've shown you those before. These are fairly new, so I'll flick through these. You may have seen these on other channels, but common models that you could easily find that you probably have. You've probably got a lot of skinks, you've probably got a lot of warriors, and I don't see why you couldn't legitimately use those standard blank cards. I mean, I haven't got any of those guys, but it doesn't mean that you wouldn't have them. So skinks are very common. You'll find those on the bottom of your box somewhere, I'm sure. I mean, legitimately, they are everywhere. I bought a set of these from a person for about 45 quid, and it had like hundreds of models in this box, and I didn't even know what they were when I first started collecting like Age of Sigmar. I say collecting, but also like playing Age of Sigmar Warhammer. You can see there, I mean, and now I get to, well, I built the Seraphon army, so I got to play them, but then ever since the rules changes, with the changes with Nagash, I kind of put the game aside. It's not that I don't like the models, it's just that I kind of retired it, and seeing that I retired it, I don't really play it as such. But now I've got a reason to kind of dig them out and have a little go of them. There you go. So hopefully that's been of interest to you. If it has, let me know. Warcry, I think I definitely will do a couple of quick reps with that, just so you can see it play through. It's nice to see it play through with familiar voice. You know, if you're happy with that, let me know. As always, I've enjoyed my time. I hope you've enjoyed your time, and I'll catch you soon. And this is a reminder, make sure you get your video done for the extra opportunity to win that repulsor tank. I'm not too sure how I'm going to get it to you yet. There's everything which is vital, which needs to be on travel and transport, but then again, saying that, deliveries are still working. Anyway, look, before I start rambling on again, I've enjoyed my time, and I hope you've enjoyed your time. I know this is just quick, but again, this is just to jog your memory, to see if you've got these games knocking around in your house or your strip boxes just for the models, so you can play them. I think even before I go, I'll just show you the Gore Chosen and Shadespire Underworld, just to kick in memories if you got them, and you know, go and enjoy them. And thinking of that, I made mention of a game when I was speaking about the Genestealer cult game, the Deathwatch Overkill, and it was called Lost Patrol. That's what it was. If memory finally kicks in a little while later. But look, there you go. As I said, take care, have fun, keep hobbying, and look, I have mentioned this before, I would love to do a hobby update as regards to what you've been doing. I love to see your work. I've got pictures coming in, which is fantastic. If you want to bring your pictures in, send them in to my Gmail, send it into Discord. I'll compile them together and I'll put them together in a video just to show them off, because I love seeing your stuff and that encourages me, and if it encourages me, I'm sure it will encourage you. Either way, enjoy your time, and PC out.